I'm fantastic. Sorry.
It's all
Doing
good.
great.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for reaching out and, excited to talk to you today. So just to let you know, Maria, our audience is mainly real estate agents and a lot of them in their first 5 years.
Excellent.
So this will be posted on YouTube, podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes. So it'd be great exposure for you. But first and foremost, welcome. Thank you for being here. And Maria, how do you say Quattrone?
Quattrone, yes. Thanks, John, for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So tell us about your journey in real estate. How did you get started?
Oh my journey in real estate started in 2004. I used to be an account manager for a group of radio stations in Philadelphia, and I was disenchanted with my career after 11 years. And a friend of mine told me about real estate. So I researched it. I met with his business partner, and here I am. It wasn't that easy, obviously, but it's 2004. So 2005 was my first year full-time in real estate.
No kidding. And that time the market was on fire in the United States, and 6, 7, 8, 9 was a doozy. Was the financial crisis. Everything started crashing. Did that happen in your market?
So I actually didn't know that the market was really busy in 05 because I worked at a very tiny brokerage.
Okay.
And I didn't really know what was going on. I just knew I was doing deals, and then every day I would come in and I would open up hot sheet on the MLS, John. And I said, oh my God, there's a lot of inventory. And every day I would look at it and I got scared and scared and scareder and scareder.
Yeah.
And I went to my broker, because we're a small office, and I said, hey, did you look at the inventory, the absorption rate? And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, there's 16 months of inventory. First it was like 11, then it jumped like in a couple weeks to like 16. And well, then the rest is history.
Yeah. And throughout all that, did your production go down from your first year, or did it consistently grow as you were starting in a high inventory market? How did you deal with that? So
I became the queen of expired listings.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
So built my business on calling expireds, and there were a lot of them. And so I have signs all over Philadelphia, like 100 signs at a time. And investors started to call. They wanted me to give them opportunities. They wanted the deals. So the first couple of years we had a lot of that going on. And then what happened in 07, 08, then I got some of that business from developers that did not finish the project. And so that we repositioned them into the marketplace to dispose that asset. And we just grew it from there. So we actually did more business as the market got worse and worse.
Oh my goodness. So because you built up your business through expired listings, you had a lot of signs and you get a lot of sign calls, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we know this Maria Quattrone person is doing a lot of business, and developers started reaching out to you to dispose of their asset, which meant more listings for you.
Exactly.
So your start with expired listings, did you have any formal training, coaching to help you with scripting and dialogue with expireds, or you just called them and said, hey, it expired, let me come over?
So my training prior to real estate, I sold advertising, I sold radio, so I sold air. So selling air, so if you can sell air, you can sell anything, because you can't see it, feel it, or touch it. So when I got into real estate, I said, oh my God, everybody needs a house or an apartment. Everybody's a client, potentially, right? So I hit the ground running because I already did the hardcore sales work early on. And I knocked on a lot of doors when I was in advertising. Literally, I did go door to door. So that was interesting. But I took everything that I learned and I brought it into real estate. And then what I did over the first several years is just really, really hunker down and study the marketplace.
Okay, so you had some formal training. I would think,
Well, I don't say formal training. I would call it
right,
like street training, like boots on the ground. Go out, go walk into a business and ask them who handles the advertising. So we didn't have a script for that.
wow.
When I got into real estate, I didn't have a script in the beginning, but I knew how to talk to people and I can
Mhm.
make people feel comfortable with me and they like my enthusiasm. And so, a little bit of that fake it before you make it, but somewhat, I guess. Um, they didn't know I was in the business for a week or 5 years. I just was like, let's go. We're going to buy this house. Um, I did start then learning the scripts of expireds.
Gotcha. Who did
And I
you
worked with
sign up
Mike
with
Ferry
for
coaching.
coaching or mentorship with expireds?
I worked with Mike Ferry.
Oh, Mike Ferry. Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So way back then, and so I was with Mike Ferry as well. I don't know if we've ever met in the system. I signed up in '08.
Okay. So
Yeah.
maybe because I was probably in there from maybe '06, '07, '08, '09, '10,
Okay.
maybe 11, something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, the organization was so big and I was still a baby when I signed up and I just kept to myself. I probably, didn't go out and network. That's why we didn't meet. So you did have some formal training afterwards, but it was your enthusiasm, right?
I
Your
think it
willingness to
was
work.
confidence, desire, and doing the work. I did the work. I was the first one in the office at 7:30. We had a pretty big office at the time I was with, about 10,000 square feet,
Wow.
over 2 floors, and I used to turn the lights on.
My goodness. So why, because a lot of people that come into real estate don't have any formal sales training. You have some experience, but you had the desire and you're willing to work. Why so motivated?
I think that stems from childhood. I think it comes from not having a lot and drawing a line in the sand when I was probably 7 years old and said, I'm going to be successful and I'm going to do the right thing along the way. Granted, you make mistakes, you all make, mistakes along the way, but I just made that determination very, very young. And I started my entrepreneur journey when I was probably about 7 years old, making pet rocks out of a rock, selling them, selling lemonade on the corner with popcorn. I made the popcorn like the kind you make in the pan. That's you have to put the oil and then popcorn and then you put it in the bowl and you put the butter on it, that kind of popcorn, and put it in little baggies and we sold it. And then I would go door to door, door knocking. I sold Girl Scout cookies. I also sold wrapping paper and Christmas cards and Hanukkah cards. So every item I sold, I got $1. So if the total was say $500 and I sold 100 items, I got $100. In fact, first year I did sell 128 items, and then they send them to me, and then I would ship them out. I would drop them off to the people.
That's amazing. Guys, I don't know everybody that I've interviewed, nobody's ever started that young and said, I'm drawing a line in the sand and I'm going to be successful at 7 years old.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your life when you were growing up. What was it like? Parents, siblings. What was the
Yeah. So
situation?
my mom and dad, and my sister, my two sisters, and my brother and we lived in a small house, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath in Northeast Philadelphia, and it was tight. And it was a little crazy. And there were times when we had no money, unfortunately. And I remember going to the store, and at the time, they have this little card now that you can just swipe like a credit card for food stamps. So we actually had like food stamps in a book. And so it was really embarrassing to go to the supermarket. And I used to do the shopping, my sister and I. And then we would walk home like 6 blocks with all these bags of food and that we would get for our family. And so I grew up like cooking and cleaning and grocery shopping at like a really young age. And I decided, and I took care of my brothers and sisters, and helped out. And I just decided that, I was going to get through high school, go to college, be the first one in my family. I'm a first generation college grad.
Wow.
I didn't even know that was a thing until I read an article the other day, but first generation college grad. And yeah, I paid my way through college. by working in the bar industry. I was a waitress and bartender. I did that full time while I went to school full time and graduated. And, I did an internship while I was in graduation. So I was able at NBC, it was NBC, it's now 10, but it used to be Channel 3. And then I was able to get a job at another NBC affiliate in advertising, and then segued my way back into Philadelphia into advertising sales. So that I said, when I got in the business, I'll be in 10 years. I was in 11, but one of those years was also in real estate.
Right. Wow. I mean, that's an amazing story. So growing up with hardship had you become gritty. And even still, I think, when we come into real estate, we experience a lot of setbacks. Right. How do you deal with a setback? For example, deals falling apart. The client signs with somebody else. The client buys with somebody else. My mindset's not so strong today. How do you deal with that?
So like all those setbacks to me is just part of the business. I don't really care. And because I'm not attached to the outcome. So deals fall apart, boo-hoo, what are you going to do? I mean, we can't force a deal to be together. Like if the buyer doesn't perform or the seller doesn't perform, we cannot control that outcome. So I don't worry myself about any of that kind of stuff. And it's because I have a mindset to start every day at zero. So every day at our company, we're looking for sellers to list properties. We're looking for, agents and other people to join our company. So you just got to focus on do the next thing right.
Do the next thing right. And don't be attached to the outcome. I love
Progress,
that.
not perfection.
Progress, not perfection. And boo-hoo if a deal falls apart. Boo-hoo if someone signs a listing with somebody else. Boo-hoo. Just control the controllables. Keep going. Now it's been 25 years, right? 25
years in real estate this year.
In real estate.
Plus almost 30 years in sales. But I would say my sales career started when I was probably 7. So
yeah. So that's like, I don't know how. I don't know.
We don't have to talk about that.
So 19 years in real estate now. What does your team look like? And do you own a brokerage, and do you own multiple businesses now? What does that all look like?
Yeah, sure. So I own the brokerage. It's Remax at Home in Philadelphia. We currently operate as a team office.
Okay.
That could change any day though. And we have about 20 people in our company right now and growing. We also just opened a Motto Mortgage franchise. Our company's Motto Mortgage Expert Solutions. We opened in January, which is we're doing the work now to get things to the funnel. But I can tell you, it was one of the best decisions we made. We haven't yet, we're not whole yet or anything like that. And it's not like money's like just pouring in, but we are able to help the clients seamlessly now. And before we were waiting for these lenders to get back to us, and our leads weren't important to them, right? Explain it like this. So we're a marketing company. We do a lot of marketing, so we bring a lot of leads in.
Right.
So those people need to get either they're paying cash or they're getting a mortgage. If they're getting a mortgage, we want to get them over to somebody that can qualify them that day, not tomorrow, not the next day. And what we found, especially during pandemic, was they weren't getting back to our leads because these aren't signed clients yet. And because of that, the business was just falling away, and we were paying for the front end of it and weren't getting anything from the back end. So I fixed that problem. Our number one core value at our company is to be the solution. And I fixed that problem by buying the mortgage franchise and putting people in that place in order to facilitate a smoother transaction for our buyer clients.
That's amazing. So you took care of that problem. Now the online leads are getting pre-qualified, and then we
get a lot of phone calls, and we have an ISSA, and he also makes outbound calls to our database. And so because we market to our database, we use Follow-Up Boss, and I send marketing videos at least like once every other week, if not once a week. We send something out. So over time, we've developed mind share in our prospects' mind. And so we have like 14 or 15,000 people in there right now. We should have more, but I don't know what happened to that other database. But anyway, we got around that. And so we talk to them all the time, and then we reach out via phone. So you can't call 15,000 people, but I can do videos for them.
That's amazing. 15,000 in your database. You should be doing like hundreds of deals with that. So build up your database, guys, and
Build up your database.
yeah, talk a little bit about ISA, because it's a topic that most team leaders are going towards. What's the difference between having your agents call versus an inside sales agent call on behalf of the agents?
So we do both. We have
Okay.
we have a hybrid model. Agents should follow up with their clients, okay? But the new leads coming in, and I hate the word lead, by the way, I call it opportunity. The new
Mm,
opportunities coming into our company, we want there to be somebody who picks up the phone. I say 98% of the time we answer the phone. Okay.
wow.
So the
Okay.
phone's answered all the time. If it's so, then at that point, we can then either direct them. Do they need a pre-approval? Are they a renter? Are they a seller? Or are they a buyer and they're paying cash, and set the appointment? So it's rare if somebody calls that we don't set an appointment. We usually turn appointments over from our inquiries. And then if it's an online lead, we just call them first, and then we try to set the appointment and then assign them to an agent. So what's in the agent's database, so they can call in the pond. We have a pond of people that, I mean, I could have 50 more agents here and still not have enough people to call into the pond. So it's a hybrid. We do both.
That's great. So there's no right or wrong. It's either it's not either or, it's both. It's ISA,
Yeah.
and you have to have your agents call and follow
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Yeah, the main thing is you need lead to speed. You need to call them pretty fast, don't you?
Yeah, we
Or pick
don't
up the
like,
phone.
we have to we pick up the phone. So we're picking up the phone, even if it's not that right person, we'll put them on hold for a moment to get them over to the right person. But everybody in the office will answer the phone except pretty much me.
Yeah. Are you still in production yourself, taking listings and buyers, or just leading team now?
So I kind of stepped out in November, but I have a few select clients I work with. And I was thinking about that actually. I came home to do this, to talk with you. So it was
Thank
quiet.
you.
And I was walking home because my office and the house is like 7 minutes away by foot. So I walk home and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should sell again. Like, I was thinking about it and I'm thinking, well, maybe I could just pick only the ones I want to work with, and only the ones that are like, a certain criteria they meet. And I don't know, I'm toying around with it. I'd
Yeah.
like to be busy.
Definitely. It definitely looks like it. And you're such a driver, by the way, and it seems like you're unstoppable, all throughout your career, even from the time you were 7 years old, drawing the line in the sand. And with most drivers and successful people, I know they make quick decisions and not afraid to make quick decisions. Is that you?
I think I make decisions pretty quickly. I mean, sometimes I ponder on them and sometimes I change my mind, but I don't like things undone.
Mm,
And so I constantly have lists I make of things. And now my things on my list are bigger things. It's not like, hey, call that client. It's like, hey, you got to formalize that JV this week.
you
So
must have a
those things
million
take
things on your plate. How do you prioritize? Because you
I
have
time
multiple
block.
business. Time block. Okay.
Yes, I have a calendar and I follow a calendar and I try to put everything in there. Um, yeah, we all have the same amount of hours a day. I also don't waste time doing.
Doing what?
So I
Right?
focus on the task at hand, and every day I just want to move things a little bit further along. And then the next day, and guess what? Even though I'm a driver and I'm motivated and I have confidence, I have like days where I don't feel good either. Right. And so what do? I meditate. I go to
Mm,
gratitude, and I'm thankful.
wow.
And when I go to gratitude and I'm thankful, and then I'll put into the universe, here's why I'm thankful, here's why I'm grateful. And like we say a prayer every night about that, my husband and I. And we also give back to the community. So those things keep you grounded, keep me motivated, but also keep things in check, right? And I know that, gosh, I always think everybody thinks, oh, I want a better house or a better car or better this. You know
Yeah.
what? Somebody would be happy to have what you have. So be
Mm.
blessed and grateful and enjoy the journey.
Ah, that was so much gold. So what I got from that is really enjoy the journey, because we're always thinking about the next thing, but you don't enjoy the now. And guys, be grateful. Be grateful for what you have, or else the universe will not give you more. It's just it's a universal law. And being involved in the community, talk a little bit about that. Does that help business as well, or is it just fully just focused on contribution?
Well, I've been involved in charitable things for a very long time, going back to the Girl Scouts. Okay.
Wow.
And so even in grade school, I would go to the, I forget what it was called, but there was an old person's home, St. Vincent's, actually, St. Vincent's. And we would make them at the holidays, these wreaths all made of candy, and we would deliver them, and we would sing, Christmas songs to them. And this is just, I used to go and hang out with the nuns. I went to Catholic school. I used to go there and like shine their silverware, like crazy stuff. But
Yeah.
and then in high school, I was involved with all kinds of different things. In college, I was involved with the National Kidney Foundation, and I've been on boards. I've been on nonprofit boards. I've donated to lots of different causes. Right now, I just made a pretty large donation to my past high school, St. Hubert, and a 5-year commitment I made to them. We give back to the real estate community. And we right now offer a scholarship program where we bring people through the school. We've been focusing on helping specifically women and minorities, but we bring them through the school, mentoring while they're in classes. Once they pass their exam, bringing them into our training, which is called Rise in Real Estate. So we bring them in Rise in Real Estate, and within 2 weeks, they go through that for 2 weeks. They are the next week rocking and rolling and showing property and doing buyer consults and rental consults and doing deals. So we expect that within the first 30 days, after the 2 weeks, that you will have at least 3 pieces of business under contract, because we do the work while we're in the class. It's not just sitting in the classroom.
Oh my goodness, that's a big contribution. And you mean you're putting, aspiring agents through school, through a scholarship, and actually getting them productive.
Yes,
Is that how you build your team? Is that how you build your team?
A little bit. Yeah. So up until just maybe a year or so ago, it was like lean and mean. We did marketing and advertising, and we were cranking out a couple hundred units a year with small group.
Wow.
And then I decided, well, let's either stay with that and then go maybe somewhere else, or keep the company and grow. So those are the 2 choices, and I picked the second one.
Nice. So yeah, I was just gonna say, you have a big real estate team. That's 20 agents. That's a big team.
That's between staff and agents.
Okay, staff and agents, 20 people, 20 staff and agents, and you own a mortgage company, and you obviously contribute to the community. You've done it all in real estate. I mean, this is like the quintessential successful real estate team leader, real estate person in your community. What's next for Maria?
So this year, we are going to continue to grow these entities, as well as launch an insurance company. And we are partnering with a title company to do a joint venture with them. And also, I have a podcast called Be the Solution. So I'd love to have you on that.
What is it called? Being the Solution?
Be the Solution.
Be the Solution. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And I also would like to start to write my book before the end of the year.
Wow. Okay. It's just, you don't stop, do you? You just keep on moving.
Well, I was sick over the holidays with that C-19 thing.
Right.
And my husband and I were stuck in the house for 7 days, 8 days together, from Christmas Eve until New Year's Day. Not very good.
Driven you crazy.
I was not a happy camper. And I said, what do people do all day long? Because there's nothing to watch on TV. I guess maybe we could have binged a lot of Netflix, but that's not my style. We were working because we were getting onboarded with our underwriters. Our wholesalers. And so we were busy with that, but outside of that, we were not doing that many things. And I don't know, I couldn't stay home all day.
What would you give the agents in terms of a mindset? Because a lot of agents are more in inaction than action. what would you tell an agent that's in inaction right now and can't take action to be more like you?
Oh, who's not in action?
Yeah, a lot of us, me included, I used to be, you know, I procrastinate all the time. I even still procrastinate today, right? And they're more in stagnant than in action. What would you say to them to get them moving?
I think one of the biggest things for people in general is they focus on their big why. And the big why could be really, really big and scary. And so if they don't take any action because it's too big, they don't know
Mm.
how it's going to get done. Instead,
Mm.
focus on micro commitments, focus on what you can do today, and only focus on today. Okay,
Wow.
I'm going to make 20 contacts today. What does that mean? If I make 8 to 12 an hour, 2 hours. If you can't do that, focus on 1 hour. Make
Wow.
10 contacts. Write 6 things down that must get done today.
Wow.
Top 6. That's it. 6 things.
This is absolute gold, guys. If you are not taking action and procrastinating, it's because you're focused too much on the big end goal, and it's overwhelming to look at that. But
It's
Maria
overwhelming.
is telling us to chunk it down to just today, right?
Just today, John,
6
just
things.
today.
Yeah.
6 things. Put them on your list, and then don't do anything else until they're done.
Don't do anything else until they're done. Do the
know.
musts.
Don't answer your cell phone.
You can't
Unless
be distracted. Yeah.
You can't be distracted. So just focusing on the day at hand, because here's the reality. If you don't make the day, you won't make the week. If you don't make the week, you won't make the month. If you don't make the month, you won't make the year.
Wow.
We only can focus on what we have in front of us, and that's the present today. And there's no guarantees for tomorrow. And life is uncertain. We just went through a pandemic. We all learned the uncertainty of life. So I can't control any of those things. So all I can say is, what can I get done today? So I can feel accomplished. And that's right. That's right.
Right. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. So Maria, if you had one piece of advice, because right now we're just finishing up the first quarter and the market's changing a little bit. I don't know if it's changing for you. What would you tell agents right now in this market condition to move forward and rock 2022?
One, I'd work on my skills. I think the agents that are the most skilled in the business are going to succeed. I think that people have had it very, very easy the last several years. It's not going to be very easy. It's going to get harder. I think if you can push through this year, double, triple down on this year, you're going to come out very good for next year. There's going to be a lot of bumpy roads ahead of us. The interest rates yesterday were 4.875. So this is going to cause compression in pricing for sellers. So if you have sellers on the fence, call them now and get them off the fence to list the property if they want to sell this year. If they want to sell, if they're not, I mean, they don't want to sell, they don't want to sell. But if there are people who are out there and they just haven't got the I and crossed the T on that contract, make sure you get that done and get those listed as soon as possible. You know, I do think we're going to see some up and down in the rates for the next little bit. And people still need to buy homes because they get married, they get divorced. Look for people with lifestyle changes. Somebody passes away, house usually needs to be sold, right? Eventually. So also growing families, also empty nesters. Look for reasons, lifestyle reasons, not just like somebody like me. I just want to buy because I want to buy. I can stay at my house. We could stay at our home. And if the house comes along. We did put offers in, but we're not going to sit there and pay all this extra when we don't need to. Right. So I'm not a good buyer for somebody. Like as an investor, yes, but not as a home buyer. I wouldn't look for people like me. I would look for the people that have to actually sell that house.
Anybody on the fence that need to sell, this is the time, guys. If you can make it through this year, double down this year, you're going to be dominating the next few years. Great advice. Thank you so much for today, Maria. How can we send you referrals and how can we join your team in Philadelphia?
So you can reach out to me. I'm going to give you an easy email, maria@callmq.com. Otherwise, the other ones are too long. You can also reach me via cell 215-694-3903. And my Instagram handle is sold by MQ. And I'm on Facebook. So you can message me on there as well and follow me there.
Awesome. Well, Maria, thank you so much for all the value that you brought today. And I would love to be on your podcast. We'll catch up again. This is amazing.
John, it was
Thank you.
great. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope that this was of value to you and your listeners. And I look forward to seeing you in the very near future.
Thank you again. Thanks, everyone. Happy Hump Day.